Morning, how are you? Right. So how did it feel? Yeah. I think it'll be a fun race though. I've seen a couple of people either it seems like they get tight or they get loose. I've seen people loop it and I've seen people put the right front in the wall. That's definitely interesting. So it's kind of funny because SDK, whenever I was messing with my replays to try to get this set up, it had all the logos and everything on there that it pulled from the league session on my replay that I had. And since this is a hosted session, there's no logos anywhere, and I have no idea how to update that. So it's just going to go logoless. I tried to turn you up a little bit, so hopefully you're loud enough on YouTube. go ahead and pull the weather up and everything before they start qualifying. So, let's see.
And 4.
Race information. Track temperature 112 degrees currently. Track length 3/4 of a mile. Air temp 75 degrees. Humidity 56%. Partly cloudy with a 12-mile-an-hour wind. So that's a nice and spicy track a little bit.
Yeah.
So out of the group that we have in here, who do you think's gonna take the pole?
I'm going with Jared. I was following him a little bit. He seems to have a pretty good handle on the car. A little bit loose, but he seems to have pretty good speed.
I like that pick. Jared's usually good in anything that he gets in, though.
Yeah, I think his racing experience, real life racing experience, kind of helps that, especially if the car's loose. I mean, that's what he's used to, dirt track cars, being able to work the wheel.
Absolutely. Looks like there's only going to be 6 drivers in here, maybe. So it should be easy for us to keep track of what's going on.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Looks like Thomas Pierce is the first one out.
He left?
Oh, no, the first one out on track to qualify.
Oh, yeah. Yep. I see him.
Anthony got really loose on entry.
Yeah, that's the thing with this car. It seems like if you carry too much speed and try to brake, it's not forgiving on that right rear.
Looks like Thomas Pierce's first lap was a 24:53. Jared Kelly's first lap, 24:04. Oh, Kevin Kyle out on the track. Looks like those 3 might be the only ones to qualify.
Yeah, it might be small field. I wouldn't be surprised, but that lap that Jared found is really, really good. 24:03.
Yeah, half a second faster than everyone else.
Yep. And you said the track temp was 112 at the time during practice?
Yeah, let me recheck that.
It's like right
Oh,
now
it's
it's about,
101 right now.
yep.
101
So,
degrees track temp right now with the air temp of 76.
so we got Steve Neal on the track.
Maybe some of these guys was wanting to watch the others qualify first.
Yeah, I think that's a really cool addition that they've added on the iRacing.
I know I've used it on Sundays. It was like Steven ran a 2489, 2488.
Yeah, 24:88. That mirror that Kevin was talking about, if you race the next gen cups and then you hop in this car, it's definitely an adjustment because the mirror is so much different.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's
The
much smaller. It's much
yeah,
smaller, and it's off to the far. Running triples. It's off to my far right screen, so you really have to like kind of turn your head to look in the mirror. So I think, that could be an issue.
yeah. All right, running through the grid. Jared Kelly took the pole with the 24039. Kevin Kyle starting on his outside. Thomas Pierce starting third. Stephen Neal fourth. Anthony Yankello starting sixth, and Wes Hurd Jr. starting seventh. I almost listed you off on there.
Yeah, yeah. I just wanted to get a feel for the car, how to
Uh,
understand what the drivers are going to be going through.
I don't blame you there. I hadn't even owned this car until a few days ago, whenever I talked to Kevin about trying to do these broadcasts and stuff.
Yeah, I think it's
So,
great to be able to broadcast this race and this new league. Seeing these guys run these cars is pretty exciting to watch.
I'm trying to remember here. At Richmond, is it one pace lap or two pace laps before the start?
I think it's two.
I was thinking it was two, but I cannot remember for the life of me.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? It might be one. Let me see if there's any. There's no information on it, but it might be one.
I know we've ran here so many different times in other series, but I can never keep the track straight on how many pace laps there are to start a race at each of them.
Yeah, the same.
if I can time these buttons right. There's no restart zone in this league, right?
I don't think there is. I would imagine that they didn't put that on.
Yeah, I know Kevin wanted it to kind of be like the old NASCAR rules, so there's no lucky dogs, no chase format or playoffs in that sense, and then single file restarts with lapped cars on the inside, just like the old school days. It looks like it is 2 laps at this track.
Yeah, looks like you're right. You know, they're over there. Some of them starting to warm up their tires, try to get ready for that start.
Green, green, green.
Green flag. Good start by Kevin Kyle, but got kind of pushed up the track a little bit by Jared's entry. Falls back to 4th.
I was watching Pierce there, and I thought he was going to send it in there 3 wide for a minute. For some reason, my camera here is not changing to anything.
Looks like Kevin Kyle is having a little bit of issues with, oh, we got a car getting loose. So I was saying, looks like Kevin Kyle is having a little bit of issue with the corner entry.
Maybe you might be driving it in there a little deep.
Yeah, you probably might be right on that. Or he's just doing a really good job of taking care of his tires.
Yeah. That is, watch Kevin here. That's my favorite place to be, behind some people, figure out how they're running their line, and then try to replicate that, especially if it's a track where I'm cooking it into the entries.
Yeah, exactly. It's just the tool that I've used in the past, especially when I started. You know, just following guys that were in front of me that obviously were faster than me and see what are they doing. You know, what are they doing better than I am? If they're able to get into the corner and not slide that nose in, you know, I try to figure out what it is that they're doing, where is their braking point, and like you said, try to replicate it.
Yeah. So in this car, whenever you were running practice, does it have the brake bias adjustment and stuff in this like it does in the others?
It does not. Well, I didn't see it anywhere in my car when I was in the car, but my hands were so full. I really wasn't looking too hard.
Right. It looks like we're going to have a battle for a lead here going into turn 2. Pierce is kind of stuck with Kelly.
Yeah, his lap time that last lap was almost a tenth faster than Jared Kelly, so doing a pretty good job. He's got a deeper entry than Jared, and then Jared gets a better run off exit. But right there, Thomas was able to close the gap on him, looking on the inside.
Yep. Almost some contact there. Oh.
Yeah, and he went for the move there and to try and stay off Jared Kelly. He had to probably get on the brakes. And that's obviously those cars that deep into the corner just doesn't like that.
Yeah, I just tried to come around on him. He recovered nicely though.
He did. Real good car control. See if he can work his way back up to Jared.
A little bit of battling going on with Stephen Neal and Kevin Kyle. Kevin was able to get around Stephen. Now he's pulling away. That was a battle for 4th place. Jared's built almost a 1.5-second gap back to Anthony.
Yeah, and I don't know if it was that slide by Thomas, but his lap times went to be pretty close, a tenth within Jared to running like a 25-second lap time. So let's keep an eye on him, see if he's able to pick that back up, and if he's able to pull his tires off, or if it just cooked.
I wonder how the tires are trying to cool them off in these, because I know it's rough to try to cool the tires back off in the next gens.
Yeah, that's a good point. You know, so we see Thomas there just running a little bit higher line. I don't know if he just missed his mark or just trying something different.
Looks like Kevin Kyle's catching up to Thomas now. I think if I was Thomas, I would back the corners up a little bit and try to get a better drive off. Oh, I think I saw someone in the grass.
Yeah, that was Anthony right before coming off exit 4. Got a little bit loose and then right into the grass. And he was running some a little bit faster lap times than Jared, so maybe he just got on a little bit too hard. But yeah, he went through the grass.
See if I can see what happened here. Oh, looks like he just got loose out of 4. Locked it down, went through the grass. Jared's up to 4-second lead over Thomas. Kevin Kyle and Thomas is going to be battling here in a second for P2. Down the back stretch into 3. I think Thomas and Kevin is the closest battle that we have on track. Everyone else is several seconds spread out from each other.
Yeah, could have a battle here for second place. But we watched Jared Kelly. He's still putting down the fastest laps on the track. Not surprised. You know, he's a good driver. Got a lot of real life experience in dirt tracks. And you know, I kind of found that these cars get loose. The more you drive them, I think that's right up his alley.
Absolutely. And it's a whole lot easier to drive any of these cars whenever, like, I don't think it matters what car it is. Whenever you have a gap like this, you can just settle down and calm down. You're not stressed about anything. You just drive the car.
Yeah, it's a good point, right? You can kind of back it down if you wanted to with the lead that he has and just be able to take care of your equipment. You don't have to worry about forcing it. So he can manage his pace and put the pressure on everybody else to try and catch him.
Back to Thomas and Kevin. They're both running pretty close lap times, about a tenth off of each other. They keep trading lap to lap on who's faster each one.
just watching Jared Kelly in-car camera here and just watching how smooth he is and patient he is on getting onto the throttle.
Oh yeah. Switched over to right on board with him, and he's just smooth. Letting the car roll and just patient on the throttle through the center and off the exit.
Yeah, and in comparison to like Thomas Pierre, if you kind of watch the braking points, they're definitely different between him and Jared Kelly, and you can really see that Thomas is really loose. You can see his car fishtailing coming out of four, loose on entry. So you know, just in his corner speed is definitely different than Jared Kelly. So Jared Kelly's doing a great job with that throttle control, being patient.
Whenever I was watching Jared, his wheel input was nice and smooth, and watching riding on board with Thomas, he's really having to fight the wheel on both entry and exit.
He hit the apron that time. That was cost him a little bit of time. But yeah, he is really loose entry, really loose exit. So he should have tried a little bit higher line coming into 3. See what kind of run he can get coming out of 4. But again, you could just hear the tires screeching on exit on him.
I think that's letting Kevin catch up a little bit to him, or at least stick to him. Looks like Kevin might have it here.
Yeah, Thomas really got, looks like might overdrove the entry there and had to wash up the track. And it's like Kevin makes that pass pretty easily. So Kevin, started P2, fell to the back really early, and looks like he's just managing his tires. He's worked his way back up to P2.
See if Kevin saved tires here, if he'll have anything for Jared. He has about a 5-second gap to try to make up. Looks like Anthony Pitt. Whenever you were in the car earlier, did you see what the fuel mileage was?
I did not see that. We are what, like 29 right now?
Yes, we are 29 of 110. And I know the fuel was, they had it set to 65%, I believe, but I don't even know how many laps 100% fuel gets in this, so I can't do any quick calculations.
And there goes Kevin. I don't know if he got, yeah, it looks like he might have got bumped by Thomas and spun him around, and he's able to keep it off the wall, I think.
Go back and see what happened there. Thomas just got hot in the corner, and it looked like he got tight and pushed up into Kevin. Kevin did avoid the wall, so he didn't hit anything.
Yeah, that's good. He did a good job slowing that car down to keep it off the wall. But yeah, I think just Thomas is what we saw earlier. He had better corner entry speed than a lot of guys, and I think that time just the difference between how Kyle and Thomas entered the corner, and yeah, just made a little bit of contact with that left corner panel, turned him around.
That little incident between them let Jared Kelly jump out to almost a 13-second gap.
Thomas there got loose going into 2 or into 1.
Did he get forced down in the pits or anything from that?
No, no, it was on his own.
Oh, okay. My timing said that he entered pit lane and then left pit lane. I was going to go back and try to see what happened. See if I can. The closest thing we have going on track right now is Thomas Pierce and Kevin Kyle still, but there's a 5-second gap between them, so I don't even think we can consider that a close battle or anything. But they are
Yeah.
the two closest cars together. Showing Anthony in the pits, and he's been in there almost 4 minutes. So I wonder if he's getting damage fixed or if he just decided to park it.
That's a good question. I didn't see where he made contact with anything, so it'd be interesting to see if if he is getting repaired, if he comes back out, or if he's just going to be sitting there and be a spectator.
Kevin's sitting back here in third place, but he's running equivalent laps to what Jared Kelly's running. Jared Kelly's last lap was a 25.65, and Kevin Kyle's was a 25.66. Really close lap times, but there's a huge, massive gap in between them. And then you have Thomas Pierce in the middle. 17.5 seconds back from Jared.
Yeah, and if you just watch Jared's car, I mean, you don't see him struggling with loose in and loose off like you do the other cars. So again, really good car control from the beginning, even to 30, 41 laps into the race. I haven't seen his car wiggle so far.
And he's still as smooth as can be on the throttle. And the wheel's just super steady. He's not having to counter steer or fight it or anything. Definitely has the car under control here.
The moment I say that, he wiggled just a little bit off the floor, so broadcaster's curse.
Oh, Kevin almost looped it coming to the start-finish line. Looked like he got loose off of turn 4. Looked like Steven got in the wall.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to pit road.
He just kind of got in the wall and held it there to not come down in front of Kevin or onto Kevin or anything. I wonder how sensitive or I wonder how these cars take damage. Like if they're
that's a good question. Compared to the next gen cars, who how they take contact with the wall. Obviously, they don't have to worry about the front end being damaged as far as that. What's that word I'm looking for?
the toe link.
The toe link, yeah, because obviously the suspension is so much different. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
a tow
Hey,
link, you know, but it's still, you kind of wonder just how different these cars are when it comes to the Diamond's model.
yeah, I know. For in the next gen, you scrape the wall a couple times, and if you hit it just right, it breaks the tow link, and then you're in the pits for 8 minutes trying to get something fixed.
Yeah, they do have a fast repair in this league, so with Steven being back on the track, was it minor damage or did he already have to use his fast repair?
Yeah, I almost forgot about that one fast repair that they have.
Jared's still running into 25-second lap times.
25 point, it was like 25 and a half.
Yep, that's what
And
he's running.
Steven just put down to 24:35, so he definitely took tires, but that's not as big of a gap as I was expecting between old tires and new tires.
Yeah, that's a good point there, and you know, interesting. It'd be nice to see, you know, what the tire wear looks like after you run, 49 laps.
We're getting ready to come up on halfway here in 6 laps, 5 laps.
That's why I heard somebody kind of made contact with the wall, but couldn't make out which car it was. Thomas is loose.
Yeah, he's really loose.
Did a little Tokyo drift there.
Yeah, I think he got all of 3 and 4 on that one almost. Kevin has made it back up to Thomas. There's only well, I guess they're still about 4.5 seconds out. I believe the gap earlier was 5.5, so Kevin's slowly closing that gap. But Kevin's also running 0.2 faster at the moment.
Yeah, and, with Jared, just the lap times that he's still putting down. I mean, he's running 25.6, so a few more laps, and he might be right on the bumper of Kevin Kyle, put him another lap down.
Jared's just on rails. He has this car under control and figured out.
Yeah, I mean, this car really seems to fit his driving style. I mean, it's just impressive to watch, when he's driving, just how under control, like you said, he has the car. I mean, and he's able to keep it on that yellow line. I mean, just really, really good adjustment for jumping into this car.
I think it was last year or something. Jared, we started to try to do a dirt league, and Jared kind of took us all to school in that a little bit too. Everyone was always super heavy on the throttle. Jared just under control.
Yeah,
Looks like Jared's pitting.
Yep, coming down the pit road, so 55 coming to 56 laps.
Thomas has his hands full. That car is just... he's loose everywhere, I think.
Yeah, it looks like Steven Neal's parked on the grass again on the front stretch. getting it turned around,
Oh,
rolling off.
go back and see what happened. Looks like he just got loose off of 4. That's the second or third time that I've seen someone get loose off of 4.
Yeah, when I was just doing some test driving during the practice session, after several laps, just seems like that was something that, especially if you're hot into the entry, you start really heating up that rear tire, and just made it more wicked on entry. And then if you got on the throttle too early, it made it more loose on the exit.
Looks like Kevin's sliding into the pits here. And I like what he's doing because Thomas is staying out, and even though it's a second or a second and a half difference on new tires to old tires, Kevin only had to make up 4 seconds. So he should be able to... Thomas ain't gonna let him leapfrog like that. Thomas came into...
Yeah, that'd be interesting too, because Kevin was able to stretch out his fuel farther than Jared was. Clean track for Jared Kelly. I mean, he's got no pressure from behind. Clean track in front of him, so he can run his lane how he wants.
Yep, I think he'll be able to close this out unless something crazy happens.
Yeah, I agree. I think at this point right now, it's going to take Jared Kelly making a pretty drastic mistake. Here's somebody in the grass. Looks like Stephen Neal had another issue coming off of 4.
Yep, just brushed the wall and it kind of got him loose. So I think our battle for this race is going to end up being Thomas Pierce and Kevin Kyle. If Kevin can stay nice and calm and take care of his tires, I think he has enough laps to catch back up to him. And have a little bit of a battle for P2.
Yeah, it kind of makes you wonder what could have been for Kevin, if he wouldn't have got, turned earlier in the race,
Yeah.
and it had to stop on track, no cautions, obviously. So, lost a lot of time, trying to get his car loaded up and reset. Running the high line on for Stephen Neal, like going into 3, it was up into the marble area.
It looks like Steven's definitely fighting to try to get that car to turn.
Yep, and see a clean pass by Kevin.
Steven definitely has his hands full. Fighting a super tight car. Always wanted to push up into the wall.
Yeah, I've noticed that last couple of laps he's been definitely struggling. Running, even on entry, it looks like he's just running really much higher than a lot of other people. I don't know if that's just his car being tight on entry and exit.
Trying to watch the front tires to see how much wheel he's having to put in that. He just can't get that car to turn. And I know he's brushed the wall a couple times, so now I wonder if it's damage to the car or the front of the car that's making it like that.
Yeah, it's possible.
Because he just cannot turn that car.
Yeah, and now, you know, the sense of maybe the nose might be, you might have to even back down the corners on entry more just to be able to get that car to rotate, and that's just going to cost him time in the center of the corner.
Thomas Pierce is built almost another second ahead of Kevin Kyle. I don't know if Kevin's just backing it down, hoping to save some tires, or what's happening there.
Yeah, it looks like he's kind of like moving around the track too. He was running the center lane. I've seen him run the top lane. Just now he was on the lower side of 3 and 4. He's back to the low lane in 1 and 2. So looks like he's just kind of moving around, trying to find some speed and some grip. And it's a good time for him to do that, right? He's in a part of the track where he has nobody around him, so it allows you to go ahead and do that.
No, sitting here trying to remember. I know my favorite line to run around here, which I don't know how it is in this car, but in the next gens, I like the middle lane, or kind of somewhat of a diamond the corner, kind of drift up in the center and then come for a lower exit, especially on 2, going onto the backstretch to not loop it around. But I'll have to try this car out and see what these guys were struggling with, because now it's piqued my interest now.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to jump in the car, you know, because it was really piquing my interest. Is what's the driver's good experience, you know, right off the bat compared to the next gen car, and then how does that change on the longer run, you know? And what you don't really feel is the bumps that you do in the next gen. These cars, you don't feel them as bad. You know, the aerodynamics completely different, suspension's completely different, so you don't feel them as bad as you do in the next gen.
That is interesting, and the steering's different too. So I bet these cars are a little bit easier to drive off the right rear than the next gen, where it just wants to snap because you can't feel that fine line where the steering wheel wants to overcorrect.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, next gen cars, like you said, it's so easy to, if you overcorrect it and put too much, wheel to counter steer, it snaps on you. I didn't find this car to do that.
Looking at the lap times here, Jared's still running 25.40. Kevin's last lap was a 25.30, and Thomas's last lap was a 25.55. So they're all three kind of right there together within a tenth or two. But there's such a massive gap between them.
Right, and I think that gap that you're talking about there just allows Jared just to take care of his stuff, right? No need to push it, just ride around the track, hit your marks, be patient. There's no need to force the issue, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's just, racing the track, taking whatever the car gives him.
Coming up on 30 to go here. Oh, Jared Kelly definitely has just sailed away. It looks like he's the only car on the lead lap at the moment.
Yeah, if you watch his line, you know, he gets real close to the wall before entry. And if you watch some of these other guys, you know, and he on exit, he does the same thing. He'll take it all the way to the wall, give himself as much track as possible. And when you watch some of the other guys, you know, they leave a good car length off. So I don't know if that's just a field of view set up in their cars and stuff, but a lot of these guys are not using all of the racetrack, and that might be hurting some of their times.
Absolutely. I watched Jared for a couple laps now, and he's taking a. He's about a half lane up off the yellow line in 1 and 2, and it looks like he's going all the way down to the yellow line in 3 and 4.
Yep. So he's getting as much arc as possible on entry, you know, being that close to the wall, and then Kevin Kyle just barely touched the apron and spun out there, made contact with the rear end of his car.
Yellow flag is out.
And we have a caution.
See what happened here. Oh, yeah. He just barely got the apron. But it was enough to send him around.
We might have a little bit of damage to that left side rear panel.
Yeah, it looks crinkled a little bit. It didn't look like he hit the wall too hard. It looked like it just kind of backed up into it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he hasn't had to use his fast repair yet, so I would imagine he will probably end up just taking that. But I don't know how much. I don't have a reference to how aero damage like that affects these cars.
Yeah, a lot of unknowns, right? We're so used to the next gen cars and knowing exactly, you know, when you get damaged, how to fix the car, and then you get to these cars and it's like, what does that do to the car?
Yeah.
I would imagine, just my opinion, I could be completely wrong in this, but I would imagine that with such drastic difference in the aero package, that kind of damage there probably would hurt I would imagine your car would be looser on entry, but again, I could be completely wrong on that part. I don't want to find out.
Right.
And it looks like Kevin doesn't either, because he just uses fast repair.
The quick fix.
Exactly. Those guys are fast on pit road. They fix it 1 second.
Yeah.
Just like everybody getting tires. So we're at lap 84.
We just crossed over to 25 laps to go. I believe, if I remember right, I think they had 3 sets. So I think they have 1 more set left.
Which I think you're right on that, yep. So my timing shows that Thomas Pierre is on the lead lap. Is that what you have?
Yep. I wonder if he stayed out. Well, they wouldn't have had the wave around yet, would they? I don't know how he's came back on the lead lap.
Well, that's going to make it interesting for the restart, right? Because now we have Thomas going to be starting on the inside. at least be closer back to Jared, so it's kind of like a reset.
I did not catch how he got, because both Thomas and Kevin were a lap down before that caution. I didn't see what happened to get them all back together.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I was trying to watch to see if Thomas did stay out to do that.
Green flag, green flag.
So we'll see how Thomas can make it past the cars that are a lap down and see if he has anything for Jared.
Looks like Steven can turn that car again, so I wonder if it was just the tires were completely gone.
Yeah, it could very well be, and now is can he take care of them long enough to be able to get with Jared? And when we saw him spin earlier is when he got to Jared, he got a little bit tight, I think, going into two, and then spun around trying to stay off Jared. So we'll see if he's going to be able to change his driving a little bit once he gets close to him, or does he try and give him the bumper to move Jared up the road a little bit?
Right. I don't think Thomas would be. I know Jared's not afraid to use his bumper. I've seen it in a couple different races where he's tried to move some people.
Yeah, exactly, and he's really good at it, right? One thing I'm not really good at, he's also really good at that part, being able to hit the car square. We see Kevin Kyle that got loose off the 3 or off the 4, and then spun right across the finish line.
Turn 4 strikes again.
I heard Steve Neal come over the radio just kind of talking about how difficult it is for him to drive this car. So I share his sentiment. It is difficult to drive these cars. So much different than driving the next gen, and it takes a little bit of time to try and adapt to that. So I feel his pain on that comment he made.
Absolutely. That very next, Kevin got loose going into. Looped it coming off of 4, and the very next lap is where Steven clipped the apron and did the same thing in the same exact spot that Kevin did.
Oh, Thomas got a little bit looser coming off of 4, so he's going to lose a little ground to Jared. And he is definitely driving it hard into turn 1. You can just hear the tires. So he's trying to close that gap down.
He has 15 laps to go. If I'm Jared right now, I'm not going to pay any attention to anything that's happening behind me, and he's already drove away numerous times from everyone, so he just has to redo that and hold on to it for 14 more laps.
Yeah, we were talking about that mirror, earlier. That's how difficult it is, or how much different it is than what you have in a next-gen car. And I agree. I think if you're Jared or Kelly, you just forget about that mirror. Just keep looking out that windshield, hit your marks, and put the pressure on the car behind you. And Thomas is already starting to struggle. He's really getting loose on entry.
Jared Kelly, he's been able to almost put a 2-second gap on Thomas. So I think all he has to do is put the car on cruise control and go 10 more laps.
I don't know. Did they have cruise control back then? I don't remember.
I don't know. I was, I don't remember. Let's see, I was born in 84, so whenever these cars were around, I wasn't old enough, like, I was old enough to see them, but I'm not old enough to remember.
Well,
I remember
tell you how old I was. definitely older than that, but I still don't remember if they had cruise control.
I do remember the early 90s cars, though. Those were some of my favorites to watch.
Yep, there's Thomas. He's Tokyo drifting the corner and not able to save it this time.
Locked it down, didn't hit anything.
Yeah, good job keeping it off the wall. But I think that's going to seal the deal for Jared. You know, if his spotter is giving him any updates, he should now know that he is clear sailing to the end. Just got to take care of his stuff from here on out.
Yep. And be cautious getting around lap cars.
Yeah, what he's doing now, right?
Oh.
He just bumped Stephen Neal there.
Maybe that was a hello, I'm here bump.
Yeah, exactly. And another bump. Jared Kelly's passing right here. So, you know, this brings up a good question, right? For Jared Kelly is like, okay, how do I pass this guy? I know he's had some issues with getting loose and spinning and stuff, so do I dare take it on the inside of him and take a chance of him bouncing off the wall and, you know, possibly taking me out? You know, am I patient and wait if that does happen for him to give me a lane to go? So I feel like Jared's just trying to be patient, but here we see Jared looking on the inside, going into one, much bigger arc, backs it down, gets a good rotation, and then it looks like he's doing that. It looks like he's just going to be patient and see if Stephen Neal makes a mistake to give him a lane.
Yeah, one other thing that I'm thinking here is with the gap that, like, I know Jared's probably being held up, but with the gap that he has on Thomas, I don't think there's any reason. Jared may just be finishing this thing out behind him because they only have 4 laps to go, and Jared has a 10-second gap on Thomas.
Yeah, that's a good point, right? So instead of taking the risk, just you could back it down some and give yourself, you know, a good 2-second time to Stephen Neal and just finish the race.
Yeah. That would be some bad luck for some misfortune to happen where they accidentally get together, or one gets tight or one gets loose and come together. And then
Exactly. So it looks like Steve got a little bit loose, so Jared's looking on the outside. He's at his quarter, but again, good job by Jared just not pressing the issue, right?
Yeah.
So he gets a good rotation on the inside, looking on the inside of him, and then looks like he backs it down and stays behind him. So racing with the smart brain working right now this early in the morning. And my patience ran out.
But Steven held on to it, so all those times of Steven getting loose there, I think has helped him a little bit on.
Steve gave him a little payback right there. He's like, I didn't like it. Don't do it again.
Jared Kelly takes his win, followed by Thomas Pierce, going to come in second. followed by Kevin Kyle in third.
And Steve will give him another little love tap at the end there, just kind of let him know his displeasure with how he tried to pass him. Not only 87 car, but 87 tempers.
Right. Oh my Jesus.
That was just a victory love tap. That's all that was. Jared will now have to crawl out of his car instead of upside down, instead of just crawling out to celebrate.
Oh man. I'm gonna have to pick Kevin and Jared's brain a little bit to figure out because I know they know this SDK stuff. And
Yeah.
I'll have to ask them about getting some of these custom logos and stuff in there. I looked before I went live on here to see if I could figure it out, but I was so paranoid about messing the whole thing up right before I tried it that
Yeah, and
I
it
just
looks like
kind
we
of
have
left it
Jared
the same.
Kelly with us in the booth. And Jared, good to see that you were able to climb out of your car upside down.
Yeah, I didn't even get to celebrate and do my burnout.
Yeah, no donuts with your coffee this morning. So tell us a little bit about your car and how was it racing on this track?
Yeah, so a little different from Charlotte last week. Charlotte was a lot of fun. Intermediate tracks are fun in these cars, but Richmond didn't disappoint today. It's just these tire models that everyone's got to get used to. You're burning up that right rear almost all the time. So if you can just like save that right rear tire and you can set sail and pull away from everybody. But that first pit stop, we took 2 tires on the right side and came back out, and it didn't hurt us too bad. We were able to hold off those 4 tire cars and hold our track position before that yellow came out.
So that 2 tire stop, I mean, was that a planned thing or just something you wanted to try out?
Yeah, well, kind of both. I've heard that 2 tire stops are kind of a name of the game here in these cars, just because it takes 20 seconds if you do all 4 tires. So cutting it down in half by taking only right side tires, trying to see how the car would handle and everything, because you're just burning up the right side with these cars. It's not like you're burning up the lefts. But I think on new tires, it just it's a little loose. It fires off loose on 4 and 2 tires. So just managing that and trying to get the temps in it so that it can stabilize is a key part of it.
Yeah, well, you started on pole. We were watching your in-car camera. I know they didn't have them back in '87, but we put one in your car, and it's like the whole time we were watching your inputs, entry and exits, and even center corner. We never really saw where you got loose. Maybe a couple times on off the exit of 4, but nothing drastic. But you had real smooth control of the car. Do you feel like your dirt track driving, real life dirt track driving, is helpful in this car?
Absolutely not. We in that dirt car, we're leaning on that right rear, and the big thing that I keep on saying with these tires, it's a bias ply tire, and you can't run on the sidewall on it. So I think a lot of these guys, those outside temps of that right rear, were pretty hot. So it's just trying to straighten out the corners and try and put as or trying to get the least amount of temperature in that right rear tire and trying not to roll over on that sidewall is a key part.
Yeah, and it looks like you had that down. We were watching just the arc that you were taking into the corners, using all of the track. So really good job. Congratulations on that win.
Yeah, it was fun. I didn't want to get into Steven there at the very end, but uh, these noses are a little bit longer than I guess what I'm used to, and I got into the back of him. Luckily, he was able to hold on to it, though. He almost got me back in 3.
Yeah,
But
we were watching that, and we were wondering if you were going to be like, well, I got a good lead, and maybe I'll just back it down, not take a chance of, getting involved in something with Steven. And then we saw the bumper come to Stephen Neal. We weren't sure if that was on purpose or what, but now we got that explanation. And then we saw Stephen Neal kind of take the deep dive to kind of let you know, hey, didn't like it.
yeah, it was just a fun race today with everybody. Thomas was fast there for a little bit early on fresh tires, and then He started leaning on that right rear a little too much and kind of falling back. I think that's what everyone was struggling with. But I think we're at a super speedway next week, so that should be a bigger show than what happened today.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, really good job on your race today. Once again, just kind of showing how you need to adjust to be able to drive these cars. And it looks like today, the track and car was just perfect combination for you.
I don't know if it was perfect, but there's still a lot more that I can do better.
Oh, you definitely
Yeah.
had it under control today.
Well, I see we got Thomas Pierre in the booth with us, and not really sure, buddy, if you're able to hear him.
I'm here, yeah.
So, Thomas, tell us about your race and how you feel about these cars. There for a little bit, it looked like you possibly had something for Jared. You were able to stick with him early, but then fell off.
Yeah, I think I messed up with the setup of my car. Put not enough brake bias, and the car was really loose, so I was always driving on the edge. And combine that with not enough practice, I ended up spinning out a couple of times actually, but I managed to save it most of the time. But yeah, these cars are really fun. I really enjoyed that race. I wish I could have kept up with Jared for a bit longer, maybe raced them side by side a little bit, but maybe
There,
next time.
right there towards the end, whenever we had that caution, we were talking about you and Kevin being a lap down to Jared. How did you? The next thing we knew, you were back on the lead lap with Jared. Did you stay out during that caution to get your lap back, or how did that happen?
Yeah, so I got lucky, Doug. So I got my lap back, and then I
Oh,
did it
okay.
afterwards. Yeah.
That definitely makes more sense because me and David was sitting here trying to figure out how that worked or how that happened because we didn't see anything change, and then all of a sudden we noticed you were back on the lead lap.
Yeah, apparently I didn't read the notes. Didn't realize that Lucky Dog was on in this track, but that was good to see that you were able to get your lap back. And Thomas, I know you race in other cars. How much different is driving these '87 cars compared to say the next gen?
Well, they're totally different cars. The chassis is completely different. The gearing is completely different as well. These cars are a lot faster. They have a lot more horsepower. Um, well, they have unrestricted horsepower, so on super speedways it makes a pretty big difference. The racing is completely different there. On short tracks, I guess the racing is similar in terms of how the cars race each other, but the feel is completely different. You can tell that these cars are they're a lot stiffer, and I think it's more challenging in a way. But it's really nice to have something different, and I really like these cars. So
Yeah, I agree
honestly,
with
I'll
you.
do more.
I ran some practice laps just to try to get a feel for what you guys are going to be going through, and uh, yeah, they definitely handle different. The braking's even a little bit different, but if you had to do anything different outside of changing your brake bias, would you have changed anything in the race to kind of have a better long run car? Because as Buddy said, your car was pretty quick on the short run, but on the long run, it seems like you were battling with loose end and loose off.
I was battling with the loose end on the short term too. Um, Honestly, I did it. I think I did a pretty good job tire saving. My tires were not that worn out. Uh, it, it was mostly not enough practice and making mistakes that cost me much of my time because I think when I wasn't doing mistakes, I was doing pretty decent laps.
Well, excellent job bringing that car home, P2. Looking forward to seeing you guys go back on the track next week.
Yeah, thank you.
If y'all have time in the broadcast, I have a bone to pick um, after getting out of my car.
Fire away.
Yeah, so our team, we're a small funded team. We're just a minor league baseball team out of Shreveport, Louisiana. Drove our car out here on a truck with a flatbed. didn't have enough money for brand new tires, so we had to buy the used tires from practice from all the different teams, and we're just going out there trying to make laps. And I don't know what Jared Kelly's thinking. We're 16 laps down, and he's trying to race me like it's for the win. Um, so you know, we had a nice, now we're gonna have to repair the damn bumper, because he decided to hit us as hard as he could with it, and luckily I was able to save it with all my might. So yeah, there's gonna be a receipt next week. I think. I'm just saying.
All really good points. Good short track racing, and yeah, definitely contact on the track this time. So if you guys want to contribute to Stephen Neal Repair, so you can make it to the track next week, look him up on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and feel free to make the donations to him and help you get the track back on the car on the track next week.
I don't even know what this Facebook, Twitter, Instagram you're talking about, man. We're like, look me up in the yellow pages.
There you go.
This is just ridiculous. It took me. There's only 5 people on my crew, and one of them's a dog, and we're driving from Louisiana to Virginia. Come on.
I thought you'd throw me a bone for painting that car for you.
I'm not even sure if I'm going to be able to make it to the next race. I completely totaled my car trying to avenge you.
So, Stephen, the question that I have for you then is that contact there to the end. Obviously, you showed your displeasure with it and give him a bump back. Will this carry over to next week, or will you have a forgetful memory?
Oh well, I mean, when I hit him at the end, I mean, those are just old brakes. That wasn't on purpose or anything.
They're used.
Yeah, those brakes are from like 1974. I got those out of the scrapyard at U Auto Pull it down on Mansfield Road in Shreveport. So yeah, I mean, we're just we're trying to just run laps. We know we're not going to win many races with with what we got, but man, might not win a race, but we won't lose a party afterwards. So we'll just go into next week, and we'll see what happens.
All right, we'll see. Neil, way to go on that track, Jared. I don't know if you have a rebuttal to any of that.
I mean, he's got to catch me first.
Oh boy, and there it is, stirring the pot.
Well, you'll have to pass me without having to hit me when I'm 16 laps down next week, and see how you can do doing that.
Be pretty easy. Got that horsepower.
Yeah, well, we got pony power in mind. We got small horsey power.
Shoot, I thought it was another caution. I thought you were the pace car.
I don't know if anybody's ever watched Jared race on his channel and stuff like that, but these comments he's making are no surprise to me. Jared carries passion. It's going to make it for an interesting race next week for sure.
Yeah, we'll see what goes on next week. So yeah, anyways, yeah, we're gonna load up, and we're gonna head out next week wherever we need to head out to. If it's a short track, it's a short track. If it's one of them big boy tracks, we'll just hopefully you don't blow over and land on your roof if we are at a super speedway.
So,
I think next week is Daytona.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Well,
maybe you'll have to rent one of my engines.
so, buddy, if anybody's watching this and are interested in joining the 87 or any of the other cars that we run on Bonfire, where would they need to go?
They will have to go to bonfireracingleague.net. And then on there's a link to join our Discord. And from there, you can find whichever series that you want to run.
All right. Well, if you guys are looking for a fun league to join, good group of guys, doesn't matter what car you're racing, that's the league for you. They have obviously the Winston Cup, the Truck Series, the Cup Series. So look up that page if you're interested and join it, and we'll get you started.
Well, thank you, David, for joining me today. It's kind of out of my comfort zone, but it was fun.
It was fun. It was really interesting to be able to jump in the car and run some laps. And Steve, don't feel bad because Jared Kelly gave me the bumper as well in practice. But it's definitely was fun running these cars and even watching you guys race this track. So definitely interesting to see some more of these actions going on next week.
Yep, and I'll be back here next week to hopefully do the same thing at Daytona.
Definitely looking forward to it.